Hello everyone, welcome back to Evolving Vibes, the community for witches, pagans, spiritualists, and everybody in between, the Blizzard edition. So today, I'm standing outside my house right now, and we're experiencing a blizzard here in New England. Right now, total accumulation, I think, has been around 10 to 14 inches, but it's heavy winds as well, so it's just blowing everywhere. But I thought this would be a kind of a cool back setting for the video today, to which we're going to be talking about making snow water, to which I'm going to be doing today because it's the perfect day for it. Between the storm, the blizzard, the energy, it's going to be great for making some snow water. And we're going to talk a bit about that. Along with that, we're going to talk some divination. I'm going to be talking to you about dowsing rods as well as some other forms of divination. I will talk to you in just a little bit when I am much more warm and much more dry. Okay, I am back inside, warm and dry, and getting ready to talk a little bit about snow water. But first, take a look outside my window right here and check out how much snow there actually is. There is really a lot of snow, so this is the perfect time to be indoors, having my tea in my special kitty cat mug that a real special friend got for me for Christmas, and just enjoying doing this video. So, as we talk about snow water, first let's talk a bit about different types of magical waters and their uses to begin with, because there's a lot of different types of magical waters. You can use dew water, you can use lake water, you can use river water or pond water, moon water, sea water, all sorts of stuff. So that being said, let's talk a bit about using snow water in general. With using snow water, there's a lot of different things that you can do with this. You can do cleansing, purification, purifying of all of your tools, as well as people and anything in general. You can use it for charging. You can use it for encouraging sleep, for prosperity, for protection. The list goes on and on. That's just a little bit of some of the sample of it, but the list literally goes on and on. Let's talk about collecting this snow water, especially during this blizzard. It's going to be supercharged. So to start off with, in collecting this water, I want to get a container. And in this example, I'm going to use a mason jar. I want to set up a very sacred area so that I can cleanse and bless the jar and get it ready to collect the water. In other words, make it magical. So I'm just going to take the mason jar and I'm going to run it through the flame as well as the incense, both on the outside as well as on the inside. And the incense that I'm actually using is very special incense. It's something that I get from a witchy friend named Paul, and he hand makes the incense itself. And this incense I only use for ritual work, and it's frankincense, a fragrance that I really attune with to be able to cleanse things and cleanse my space, and I just really enjoy the scent of it as well. That we've cleansed our jar and it's ready to go, we're going to go outside and we're going to collect ourselves some snow. Now I'm going to pack the jar as best I can, but understand that no matter how much I pack it, it's not going to be as much water as I put into the jar. So now I am inside and I've got my jar full of snow water. So here it is. So you can see how a lot of the snow has melted and there's just a little bit still floating around. But you can see that this mason jar is nearly full. And you're going to ask yourself how that happened, considering what you said a little bit earlier about this snow not really collecting so much. What I actually did is I collected the snow, I let it melt down a little bit. However, I did have full moon water in my refrigerator from the last full moon. So I used a bottle of that and I added it to the snow water in this mason jar. And that's actually going to supercharge it, if you will. Now, the intent that I'm actually putting into it is going to be all about purification, about cleansing. It's going to be about empowerment and about prosperity, protection, and abundance. So that's just the core basis of how I'm actually going to charge this particular jar of water. Now what I will be doing is setting it aside with some incense and with some candles and letting it begin its journey to energize itself and get itself ready for what I'm going to be programming it with my intent for. What do you think of this video? My snow water is done. It's blizzard water, it's snow water, and it's actually combined with full moon water. So it's going to be a power to contend with, if you will, when I charge it and get it all ready. Let me know in the comments what you might do with waters and what kind of water you might use and what kind of spell work you might do with that water. And let me know in the comments too what you think about creating your own blizzard water and adding moon water to it. Say now we talk a bit about divination. Specifically, I want to talk today about using dowsing rods as well as using a pendulum. And this is just going to be an overview, but simply by watching this video, if you went out and got yourself a dowsing rod or a pendulum, if you don't already have that, you can certainly start utilizing it and do a lot more research on your own. And most of the research is literally going to be trial and error. But we do use pendulums and such for a lot of different things, as well as using these guys right here, which are my dowsing rods. This is the ones that I use, the one that I like. When looking at dowsing rods, one thing you do want to keep in mind is making sure that they're copper, because copper is actually a great conductor. And what we're actually utilizing when we're working with dowsing rods is specifically having the energy of spirit world work within us and transform that energy into directional movement with the dowsing rods. So you can use this for ghost hunts, you can use this for yes and no questions, you can use dowsing rods for finding things, finding water, finding objects within your house. There's a lot of different things and abilities that you do have with using them. So now the question you might want to ask is, Bri, how do you use them? Glad you asked. I'm going to show you that. So, with the dowsing rods, you can see the handles are free floating, and we hold those in our hands. Right now, I have them in my hands, and I got my fingers up against them so that they're not really moving. But to work with them, I want to tuck my elbows into my body as closely as I can, because we are going to be working with energy. So we want to be able to maintain a relatively comfortable position, but also one that's not going to allow my hands to do a lot of moving on their own. Secondly, when we hold the dowsing rods, one is going to be slightly higher than the other, as you can see, so that they're not banging to each other when you're trying to communicate. So we're going to start off with asking for everything to go into a neutral position. And please go to neutral position. And there we are. Next, I'm going to say, show me yes. And yes is being crossed. Thank you. Go back in the neutral position. Thank you very much. What I'm going to ask you now is to give me a hug. Thank you, Spirit. I do love your hugs. Can you go back now into the neutral position? Thank you very much. Is it snowing out? Yes, it is. Thank you. Back to neutral. Can you show me no? Thank you very much. Back to neutral position. Am I wearing a white shirt? Thank you very much. Back to neutral. Thank you very much for working with me today. I do appreciate it. What I do want to ask you is, can you look at my crown chakra and show me how open it is right now? Great. Thank you. Can we go back to neutral? Excellent. I want you to examine my third eye chakra. And can you tell me how open my third eye is right now? Ooh, my third eye is very much open. Thank you very much. Can we go back to neutral? Thank you very much. I do appreciate working with you today, and I always enjoy working with you. Can we have us hug and say goodbye? Thank you so much for working with me. Goodbye, and I will talk to you soon. And now we'll go back into a neutral position. Blessings be and blessings well. Thank you. And that's about it. Now, if you saw at the very end, I had to look down because they were hitting, and so I had to pull back just a little bit. But that's literally how you work with dowsing rods. Now, if you are looking for something, you can start off with, can you show me where this is? And pick objects that you know are available so you get a sense of direction, and then ask it to show you where whatever it is you might be looking for is. And it works quite well, and I do love them when I go on ghost hunts. I do love them in the cemeteries, and they work really well, as you saw, to even work with your own chakra to see how opened up my crown chakra was versus how wide open my third eye chakra was. So you can see that there's a lot of different types of uses for it. Highly recommend, if you don't have them, to start working with them. The more you work with them, the easier and easier it does become. And now let's talk a bit about pendulums. This is my pendulum. I've got several, but this is my primary pendulum that actually comes out with me every day. I use it every day. It's got a nice smoky quartz crystal within it, which I do enjoy and I do love the energy of. And it's got a little dragon on the other end of it, which is reminiscent of my rings. And I like this because, if you can see how my fingers are holding it, it really doesn't allow me to have the ability to do a lot of movement. Therefore, the pendulum works on its own and swings on its own. Now, there's a lot of different things you can do with pendulums. Of course, you can ask yes and no divination questions. And what I'm going to do is just put this up here right now. As you can see, I'm simply just holding it, and it's getting still. And I'm going to ask, Spirit, can you show me yes? Thank you, Spirit. Can you go back to neutral? Spirit, can you show me no? Thank you, Spirit. Can you go back to neutral? Another thing that you can use this for, and I do, is you can place it upon the top of someone's head, and you can actually see how my energy is moving around right now, and you can focus on grounding and pulling your energy back into you, calling it back, and grounding yourself, and allowing yourself to receive that energy back. Now you can see that it's still moving. Mostly because I'm actually doing this video. But if I were doing this and focusing my energy on it, then I would ground myself back over again. You can also do it with various tools, like, that's right, tarot cards. So I have my tarot deck here, and what I like to do is ground my tarot decks before using them. And you can see that it's shimmery, so you can see how much energy my tarot deck actually has and how charged it is. So I've been using it throughout the day, and you can see it's definitely charged up. So what I'm doing now is calling that energy back into my tarot and stilling the pendulum. Spirit, is my tarot deck grounded? Thank you. Thank you very much. So point being, if you do have any questions, if it's grounded enough, you can certainly ask Spirit and it will tell you yes or no. So we can use pendulums for a lot of things. We can use the dowsing rods for a lot of different things. The limit to its use is literally only up to you. So that's up for you to decide. So I do hope you enjoyed this portion of the video as well. Let me know in the comments if you use dowsing rods or if you do use pendulums and what you might be using them for. Along with that, be sure to check out these other videos down below, and why not go for a binge watching, especially up in this area and it's a blizzard. Sit there and watch all my videos back to back. It does help actually promote the channel and does move us forward in the algorithm, which allows a lot more people to see us and hopefully join up into the community. So let me know in the comments what you think about the video. If you haven't already, please be sure, like, subscribe, leave me that comment, watch one of these two videos below, and as always, be safe, be well, and be blessed. I will see you in the next video.